This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
The views expressed by guests on this program do not necessarily represent the views of the host or owners of the Doggy Diva show and do not necessarily constitute endorsement of products. Medical information discussed by guests on this program are those of the guests and is only for informational purposes and should not replace medical advice by your local veterinarian professional.
Hi, this is Susan Marie from the Doggy Diva show. This week, homemade slime can pose a threat to your dog. A new way to control anxiety in your dogs, and the importance of ongoing training for you and your pets. That's what's on our show this week. Let's get to it.
Hey, did you hear that? What is that? It's the bark heard round the world. The Doggy Diva show. Here's Susan Marie.
Hi, welcome to the Doggy Diva show, the show for animal lovers. I'm your host, Susan Marie, and as always, I'm joined by my canine co-hosts, the Doggy Divas themselves, Francesca, Coco, and our newest little diva, Miss Olive. Miss Olive is the cute little Italian Greyhound rescue in the picture with the microphone. Thank you for joining us today as we bring the experts in the pet and animal world right to you. So go grab a cup of coffee and your pet's favorite treat, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, cat people. Litter box smells always on your mind? Think about your cat, not the box, with World's Best Cat Litter, the litter that delivers big odor control in a tiny package. World's Best Cat Litter harnesses the concentrated power of corn to trap odors deep inside the litter. Ready to knock out smells and use less litter? Find World's Best Cat Litter at Target, Walmart, and in your local grocery and pet stores.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Monica Leighton from Professional Pet Sitting. Hey, Monica, with kids today, they're making this like homemade slime. And I think that sometimes dogs and even cats may see it and like, oh, wow, what's that? Could you tell us about the dangers and the toxicities in this, which is supposed to be something that kids play with?
Absolutely. If you have a younger to like even teenage child in your home, you for sure have been hit by the slime craze. I mean, it's all over my house and it is just crazy. The kids are so obsessed with making slime these days and homemade slimes. And there's, the crunchy slimes and the foamy slimes and the glitter slimes and the confetti slimes. And there's so many different additives in these. But one thing we have found is, like, for example, my pug loves the homemade slime, and my daughter thinks it's great to scent her slimes. So she's using the essential oils to have cotton candy flavored slimes, and it's just amazing the stuff that they make, and they so enjoy doing it. But some of the ingredients that they add to there can pose a risk and an injury risk to our pets. So just wanted to give a couple tips in regards to some of the ingredients that they have in their homemade slimes and what to look for in your pet, because they can make them pretty enticing to pets to get into. And all of us who have kids know that, kids leave stuff laying around all the time. So the chances of your pet coming across them are going to be very high in a lot of households. So your basic slime ingredients, your school glue, boric acid, shaving cream, hand soap, lotions, table salts, saline solutions, borax, liquid starch, laundry detergent, toothpaste. That's pretty much what is being used to actually form and make the slimes. And these different ingredients can actually have different levels of toxicity. For example, our table salt. The majority of these ingredients are mostly GI issues, which is upset stomach, possible vomiting, possible loose stool. But some of these have a little higher issue for toxicity. So, for example, like I said, our table salt start out with. In a smaller amount, not a huge deal, maybe GI mostly. But when you get into a larger amount, even, like 2 grams, something like that for some of these smaller dogs can become a very toxic issue. And the table salt goes directly to the central nervous system. So you look for signs of lethargic, tremors, seizures even. Some have actually been known to do comas and death secondary to a higher table salt intake. So being really cautious when they're making it and when they put that into the slime, because like I said, some of these slimes are made to have, appealing scents, things of that nature, and it can really do some harm to our pets. Basic school glue is just basically a GI irritant. Vomiting, diarrhea, anorexia, things of that nature. Same thing for our shaving cream, our hand soaps, our dish soaps, things of that nature. When you get into boric acid, which they use to get that glue to form and become a little more gelatinous so they actually have a slime base, that can actually lead to acute abdominal pain. So they'll have actually really bad stomach cramps and pain in the abdominal area, as well as some of the GI irritants. Our saline solutions, mostly GI issues, but again, most of our saline solutions include salt. So when you get to a slime that's made mainly with contact lens solution as the activator for the slime, you can have a higher salt content, and then you get back into the central nervous system issues. Laundry detergent's another one. Diluted, it's usually not a big deal, but some of these concentrated laundry detergents that are good for making slime in can also kind of act like a corrosive in their system. So being very cautious about the laundry detergents and things of that nature. Toothpaste, one of the most benign ingredients, I would think. However, a lot of the toothpaste, and we're talking about kids at this point, unless they're going in and using mom and dad's toothpaste, they're using their children's toothpaste. And most of those are bubblegum or fruit flavored. And what do they have? Xylitol. We've talked about xylitol in the past. They try to make our kids' toothpaste as sugar-free as possible. So they add in things like xylitol to kind of make that sugar lower. But xylitol, as we've talked about in the past, is very toxic to our pets. So any slimes that use toothpaste as the ingredient, you have to be extremely cautious of, because a very small amount can lead to extremely low blood sugar, liver failure, and incredibly high toxicity for our dogs. Last but not least, our liquid starch. Liquid starch is a great activator for slime. But again, this can have GI upsets, things of that nature. So make sure, you teach your kids that if they want to play with the slime and they want to make their own slime, that's okay. But they have to be cognitive of what's going to happen. My daughter loves slime. I mean, she has a slime account online to, takes videos of all of her stuff and posts it. They think it's the best thing in the world. But she did not think of how that would be for the pets. And you add in glitter and you add in confetti and you add in foam balls. And the pet is, running around the chair underneath her as she's dropping little foam balls, and she's picking them up in her mouth, and that can lead to be a blockage. So always be cautious as to what they're using, where they're doing it. Make sure it's in an area that the pets are not in, and make sure that they're stored in airtight containers that the pet's not going to get into and be able to chew into. So that way the pet's safe, the child can, enjoy the hobby and enjoy the activity. And then also know that if your pet does get into it, making sure what activator was used so the toxicity level, and then contact your veterinarian or the pet poison helpline if there's any concerns.
Wow, this is such great information, because something so fun for our kids with all these ingredients can compose such a danger for our pets. So thank you very much. Great information, and have a great week.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Up next, the scientific way to calm your dog's anxiety during stressful times. Stay tuned.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DI
ZenCrate.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Doggy Diva Show. For many pet parents who have anxious dogs, of which I am one, we have a product for you for those anxious dogs, and I think that you and your dogs are going to love this product. It's called ZenCrate, and it's the first ever anti-anxiety dog crate. And today we have the founder of ZenCrate, Jonathan Azevedo, with us, and he's going to tell us all about this revolutionary product. Welcome, Jonathan. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Now, you have such an interesting background. Can you please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, I'll try to make it short and sweet. So, I'm a robotics engineer, and, my company specifically develops medical robotics. So, developing the ZenCrate was a little bit out of our norm, but, it all stems from the love of our shop dog, Charger, who used to be a seeing eye dog who, over time, developed a fear of thunder and can no longer be in the program anymore.
Now, so I'm presuming Charger was your inspiration. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So, going back a little bit further, back in 2007, I was volunteering for a nonprofit to help train seeing eye dogs for the blind. And it's a very stringent program. Only 50% of the dogs make it through. And after a couple of years, as I mentioned, Charger developed a fear of thunder, who's one of the dogs that I was training. And so since I was the trainer, I had the first opportunity to adopt him once he was out of the program. And sure enough, I got him back, and he was deathly afraid of thunder, fireworks, really any loud noises. And being an engineer, I constantly was doing research and trying to build different products and buying everything I could find, reading forums, and nothing really worked. I mean, there was some stuff out there that helped, but the biggest problem that I had, and what I was finding on the forums and discussing with other people that had dogs that suffered from anxiety, was that even though you try to be around your dog as much as possible and provide comfort, we're not always around to do that. So one of the things that I really wanted to try to find or develop was a product where we could then train the dogs to then help themselves, even without the presence of us being home. And that's really where the whole idea of the ZenCrate stems from. And after years of, trying different methods and adding different features, then we really started to get things moving along around 2014, and it really worked well. And so this was, really just meant to be a product to help my dog Charger. But then my vet and learned about it from me telling him, and then he started spreading the word. And next thing I know, they set up a meeting with me to try to encourage me and my company to develop this into a commercialized product, because he was telling me how big of an issue it is and how many prescriptions that they write, and it's exponentially increasing every year. So that's when, I brought it to my business partner. We kind of went over everything, looked at what it was going to take to turn this into a commercially available product. And that's kind of, the birth of the ZenCrate.
Well, I have to tell you, because I have a high anxiety dog. We have 3 dogs, and one of them is she's afraid of thunder, fireworks. And I mean, she can sense it coming. And so, we've used a lot of products, to help decrease that anxiety, and it doesn't always work. And when I saw what you were doing, because it's actually kind of a homeopathic, a natural way to calm the dog, and there's so many really awesome features that you have on it. Can you tell us a little bit about the crate itself and all of the amazing features? Because it's it's almost like a spa in a crate. I mean, it is like so amazing. And I have to add one thing. I believe, because a lot of our show is predominantly about rescue, and the people who have high anxiety rescue dogs, of which I adopted one years ago, and we had to go through a whole behavioral thing. We had to bring out someone from New York City. We lived up north at the time, and it was a long process. I was, researching your product, and it would be so good for people who have high anxiety rescue dogs that they may adopt or are fostering, and something like this, because sometimes it gets so bad that you just go, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could ever help them. But something like this, it's so revolutionary, so new, and it's really interesting. I can't wait for the listeners to hear how it works and all of those key features that you have in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things you touched on, which is really quite unique for our product, is the holistic aspect. There's so many people out there that are having to give their dog medication to overcome this anxiety. Which one, you have to be there to administer the drugs to your dog. Which Monday through Friday, most of us are at work and we can't bring our dogs to work with us. So that's really not an option. And then two, like 30 minutes or more before it can set in. And if your dog suffers from thunder phobia, well, where we are in the South in Florida, storms can come and go in 30 minutes. So now you have a dog that's really suffering from anxiety. Chances are you probably didn't notice until the anxiety was too much. Then you give them a dose of medication. Then by the time it sets in, the storm's already come and gone. Your dog's a mess. So
exactly. Yeah.
And then the side effects of the drugs and everything. So yeah, that's why we love the holistic aspect of the ZenCrate. And it really goes through every aspect of it. So we made sure to, and everything is made right here, sourced and made in the United States. That way we can have tight control over the materials that the ZenCrate's made out of, which, we source from lumber yards, and it's 100% natural wood. There's no MDF or manufactured wood in there, so it's a long-lasting product that's natural. Even the finish that we put onto the ZenCrate is all water-based, so that there's no off-gassing or anything that toxic fumes for the animals. So we really try to be as green as possible. And then we even use lumber that we make sure that can be replenished so that it's sustainable over time. And so some of the features about the ZenCrate are that it has an open door on the front, and that we get a lot of questions about that because the nature of the name ZenCrate, a lot of people say, well, I need a crate. Why is there not a door on it? Well, the whole reason that there's not a door is so when you're not home, your dog, as soon as they're starting to feel a little bit of anxiety coming on, they know that this is their safe haven. They can walk in and be comfortable. And as soon as they walk in, we have a computerized system that's in the crate, and it monitors whether or not there's an animal present. And as soon as the dog walks in, there's a trigger that activates all the anti-anxiety features of the crate. So we have a ventilation system, a fan that kicks on to try to help keep the dog cool, keep air moving, flowing through, and it provides white noise, which really helps. Then on top of that, we have scientifically tested and proven music that kicks on that really helps not only soothe the dog, but it also helps drown out external noises. So when there's a bad thunderstorm and everything else, the music inside, because we designed it to be acoustically friendly, similar to a speaker box, it really lets the sound waves resonate and stay within the crate, so that it really helps drown out fireworks or thunder or anything else on the outside. Even the feet that the ZenCrate rests on were designed to help isolate from frequency vibrations such as thunder and fireworks. And if you happen to have a power outage during a thunderstorm, it really doesn't matter because the ZenCrate has a backup battery inside of it. that lasts for about an hour, hour and a half. And then as soon as the power comes back on, it automatically will recharge the battery, so you're good to go for the next power outage.
Wow. And as the listeners are listening to this, I'm sure they're going, well, how do we assemble it? What do we need to do? And you may have a surprising answer to this.
Oh, yeah. So after building so many different pieces of furniture over the years, I got tired of, having to glue things together and screw things and take an hour to assemble one piece of furniture. So when we designed this, we made sure to manufacture. So when we put this on the computerized cutting machines and everything else, we were actually able to tool in different dados and grooves and dovetails so that each piece, without a single tool, can just snap together and slide together. And we get feedback from all of our customers that from the time that they open up the package and have the ZenCrate together, it's about 10-minute process.
And it's amazing because of all of the features that you have in it with the music, the fan, everything. I think that people are going, oh my gosh, it's going to take so long, when it only takes like 5 or 10 minutes to assemble. I know it's the ZenCrate, but a lot of our dogs use their crates as like a den. And this is the ultimate like Zen Den crate. Now, could you tell us about the music? That can be controlled, the music feature?
So we have a free mobile app, and you can go out and download that on either the Google Play Store or iTunes. So it's both for Android and iOS, and you can do a lot of different controls within the app. So you can adjust the volume, you can adjust the fan, whether the fan comes on or off. You can then turn the modes from always on to off to auto, which auto is where it stays on only when the dog is inside. So it automatically will turn on and off while you're gone. The other thing that the app can do is you can set up notifications, and we have an optional Wi-Fi, high definition Wi-Fi camera with night vision. So that once that's installed, you can have notifications set up to either text you or email you. And so basically what it does is as soon as your dog goes in, and you can put your dog's name in the app as well. So then we send you customized messages from your dog. So your dog will enter the crate, and it'll say, oh, don't worry about me. I'm just hanging out in my ZenCrate, and it takes a snapshot and it sends you a text message.
Wow.
And then you can even live stream video from anywhere in the world from your mobile device, just to check in on your dog to make sure that he or she's, nice and zenned out.
That is like so cool, because I have to tell you, when you're away at work or, out of the house for any reason, we're based in Florida, so I know what you're talking about. At any moment during season, it could like totally go into a thunderstorm or one on the way. They sense when they're coming on the way. So as a pet parent, it helps to take away our anxiety knowing that there's an alternative to helping our dogs sort of decrease their anxiety. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask, how do you get your dog used to, probably once you get him in, they never want to come out, but how do you get him used to going in, that this is their new place?
Right. Yeah. One thing I want to touch on too that you just brought up was this was all developed for our pet. But it is amazing how much it helps our lifestyle too.
Yes, I can see that.
Being a pet or a pet owner that has anxiety, right? So when I would go out and meet friends for say dinner or other events, I would be constantly looking out the window to see if a storm's coming in, because if a bad storm came in, I would almost feel guilty, and, I'd want to go home and check on Charger to make sure that he's fine and doing all right. So then, unfairly, my attention's not where it should be, with my friends and my family or wherever I'm at. But with the notifications and the live viewing, I can quickly just look at my phone, see chargers in the ZenCrate, that he looks, nice and calm, and then now my attention's back to where I am instead of constantly worrying about, if charger's fine or not.
And that's so important, because it is a two-fold process, because if your pet isn't anxious, it affects you so that you're not as anxious. If your pet's anxious, so you know that it's a situation that, whether it be fireworks, loud noise, whatever it is, if you know that there's an alternative to them being able to go, especially it sounds like this is something that they'd love to go in because it's like a calming all around. I mean, they'd probably want to be in there all day. So I mean, as speaking on behalf of pet parents, I thank you for doing this and creating this product, because it's so like revolutionary, so like ahead of its time. And it's also something that the pet parent can be, even though they're away from their pet, they could be working with their pet while they're in the crate, or they'll have the view of them in the crate, or there's so many options and so many key features that are important in doing this, which obviously your background impacted that a lot. And I thank Charger for inspiring it, because I think so many pet parents are going to benefit from it. Now, I just want to ask where our listeners can go to learn more about you, to learn more about the ZenCrate, to how to purchase it.
So, we're pretty much all over social media. So you can follow us on everything from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can go to our webpage, www.zendogcrate.com, and we have a lot of tutorial videos. We have a bunch of pictures that our customers send in with their dogs enjoying the ZenCrate with some feedback. So it's always fun to kind of look at those pictures and see what people have to say about it. And we even have a blog and a bunch of information on not only using the ZenCrate to help your dog overcome anxiety, because our whole goal of developing the ZenCrate was to help the animal community and animal owners. And the ZenCrate's only one tool among many of how to overcome that. So we have a blog and all different types of content on there on how to best use your ZenCrate, how to get your dog used to the ZenCrate, other homeopathic methods such as essential oils, and we're even working on some other things such as even how to provide the best diet and nutrition for your dog. So it's kind of a whole multi-layer approach, we feel at ZenCrate, on how to best have your dog overcome anxiety along with other issues that they might be having.
Well, Jonathan, I have to thank you for being a guest on our show today and for sharing such really important and beneficial information with our listeners. And I also want to thank you for all that you're doing for our pets and also for the pet parents. I mean, it's a twofold process that you've done, and it's very assuring as a pet parent to know that this is available. And for those listeners whose dogs have anxiety issues or just want to have, their little ZenCrate, someplace where they can go while you're at work, and then you can actually be interactive with them or see what's going on. I think that this is the one of the best things I've ever heard of. So, Jonathan, I thank you very much for being a guest on our show, and thanks for all that you're doing for the animals.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Okay, you have a great week. Thanks, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hi, Doggy Diva Show listeners. Susan Marie here to take just a half a minute to let you know how much we appreciate your being with us every week to hear great dog tips you can use with your pet, some great stories about rescues, fostering, and some heartwarming stories about second chances for pets who are now in loving forever homes. Be sure to go to our website, thedoggydiva.com, to see pictures of Miss Olive and other dogs we talk about on the show and get to know us a little better. That's thedoggydiva.com, DOGGY. We appreciate your feedback too. Okay, let's get back to the show. Coming up, the importance of ongoing dog training for you and your pet. Stay tuned.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Doggy Diva Show. And we have with us today our nutrition contributor and senior marketing director at Bil-Jac Foods, Kim Gaebelein. Hey, Kim, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Sue. How are you?
Very good, thanks. February is Dog Training Education Month. So we are really happy to have you here today to give us a little tips on that. So can you give some tips that you might have for pet owners during the training process?
Yeah, training, and, we always talk about training. Training is something I think it's just like us and people and learning. Training should be a lifelong kind of thing that you do with your dog.
Yeah.
You want to keep them kind of, regularly trained. Sometimes they might get a little bit off path or maybe start, we always talk about that, cheating a little bit. When you say sit down, point at that butt on the ground, that kind of thing. So it's a good time to kind of remember to revisit it and to think about, what kinds of things does your dog need to make sure that they're safe and they're not causing any issues in the household. So it's good to go back and revisit it every once in a while. And, you could certainly go to a trainer and a training class. There's so many classes. A lot of pet stores offer classes, and there are a lot of trainers that offer classes. So you could certainly go do a full-blown class. And maybe if your dog's already done all the basics, you could look at some of the more interesting things, like being able to be a therapy dog, and get certified in some other kinds of training. But, it doesn't have to be also that big of a deal, right? There's a lot of things you could just do at home, especially there's a lot of things on the internet that can certainly help you do that as well.
And I think anything that we do that could help with the behavior of our pets, number one, it's a great bond. I know that, people go, I have to train my dog. And it is time consuming, but it's a great bond and it builds a great trust factor. And out of the long run from it all, I think that a well-behaved dog and their owner really has a wonderful, I have a bad behaved dog, so I can't really say I don't have I have a good bonding experience with her. But I have to tell you, she did great in her class because she's smart as a whip. She's my littlest one. She's smart as a whip, and she loved going to class. Loved it. She loved going to class. She loved practicing. She loved, she loved doing that type of stuff. I mean, she has a little bit of the Dickens in her, but I mean, she is really good. I mean, I have Olive and Francesca who are so good on command, but my little Coco, it's like, I might want to do it. I might not want to do it, but I'll eventually do it. But knowing the basic commands and knowing all of that it gives you like a great sense of accomplishment, and your pet gets a great sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it really is that bond, right? Because you can't train them without the two of you being present. And so it's time that you could spend together and something that you accomplish together. So kind of, it's a sense of accomplishment. And I think it does help bring you closer. And I also think that it helps them be challenged mentally. It's some new things. I mean, sometimes I think that the dogs that need the training, that would love the training, right, the most, are the ones that are sometimes the most difficult to train, as you're saying. They have a little bit of the Dickens in them. They could be that they're, they're just so smart, but they're the ones who a lot of times really love to accomplish those kinds of things, especially if you've got a very busy dog, right? If you've got maybe a Jack Russell or a Border Collie, but I would say that they need to have a job. So it's great to be able to keep them trained and kind of keep them active and be able to do that. But it's also great around the household, right? Because, you want your dog, if the door opens and they accidentally get out, you want to be able to, stay or stop. you want to be able to, so it's not just the basic like sit, lay down, those kinds of things. But it could be fun tricks, but it also could be very serious, so that in case they do get into a situation, you can help keep them safe as well. So it just is a win-win all around if you can have a very well-trained dog. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It just, all you really need to do is take a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes every day. You don't need to put a lot of effort in it, because, you don't want to be training for a long period of time. Otherwise, it'll get really boring to your dog. So if you're not going to an organized class and doing some different things where they kind of keep their attention, I would say, just train for maybe 5 minutes a day. Find some great resources. I know we work with Joel Silverman, and he is a terrific dog trainer, and he breaks it down really easily on some of our videos. So we have some great videos that are mostly out on YouTube, but also on our website. And so it's really great to be able to go out there, spend a couple minutes, see how Joel kind of tells you, and then you could spend the next, 3 to 4 weeks, typically training that at different times of the day, in different places in the house and outside, because that helps reinforce that with your dog, kind of how to act or what to do when you're giving those commands or hand signals.
And that's so important. I was going to bring up the Joel Silverman, the little pet tips that he has, and they're not long, they're not time consuming. You can do them in your own home. We got our basic training by going to class, but I I hop onto those. Just sometimes I'll look at, there's different things up there. So you want to look, and he lays it all out and shows everything. So it's a great way to help to train your pet to keep that going in your home. And it's very informational and very helpful.
And he has just some fun things too.
Yes.
So, if you love to amaze your family and friends, so my dog Blizzard, he is Bichon, and so he is really much like a circus dog, and he's very, very agile, and he's very creative, and so he can dance on his back 2 feet and do some other things, and so it's fun, right? Just amaze your family and friends, because our family and friends love to see him, dance around. But it's great to be able to have a few party tricks, and Joel has a few things in the videos as well. Things like teaching your dog to go backwards, and those kinds of things to kind of break it down and make it fun, and then you can also not just I'm sure your family and friends probably love your dog, but you could just amaze them with how smart they are too. So
absolutely,
kind of a fun thing to do.
And he does it in a fun way. It's it's not really intense. It's in a fun, easy to understand way. So you and your dogs have fun doing it.
Yeah, because our dogs should be fun, right? We should be able to have fun with them and enjoy them, even when we're doing things like training, which don't have to be hard.
Well, since we're talking about training, because at all of my dogs' classes, which we've carried over and I use all the time now, we love, which I call a motivator, the little Jack treats. Can you tell us about those? Because I think that for people who, and if you're wearing that little, the little bag on your waist, the little treat bag, they fit perfectly. I just found them to be wonderful. And I know a lot of my peers think the same way as myself with those. So if you could tell, since we're talking about dog training education, these are great little rewards.
Yeah, certainly having a motivator or some sort of a reward that your dog is excited about is really critical to kind of helping them want to get into the mood of training and do the right thing. And so our Little Jack's treats, we get such phenomenal feedback on it. So thank you very much. We really we love hearing about people having success with training and how excited their dogs get. They're nice and small, and they're nice and soft. So, you can give one at a time, or you could break them in half even, because, when you're training, a lot of times you're repeating that activity, rewarding, repeating that activity, rewarding. So, it's real easy to be able to break them in half even. They're around 3 calories a treat. So, they're not a lot of calories. So you can feel good about training. You can feel good about giving it to them. It's chicken and chicken liver. So dogs really just love the taste of it, and it really makes it easy. And I know we have also little Uberlicious treats, which are also small and are great for training. And then we also have breakfast jacks. So we have a variety of our smaller treats that are great for small dogs, certainly any time. But when you're training and you're constantly giving a treat, they're a really great, easy exciting way for your dog to be able to be happy about training.
And you're right, because you don't give them the entire treat. You just kind of break it off a little bit. So it almost, you almost give it like on the end of your thumb, so that they're just getting, I mean, I have small dogs, so it's perfect for them. It's perfect, and it's easy for me to manipulate so that I could get it to them. So it's not like something hard, or, sometimes people bring food and it gets a little mushy. So, so this is like perfect. Yeah. That's why there's a number of us, who just absolutely love them. Not only as treats, but for training treats. They're a great little reward. Speaking of rewards, I mean, you have so many different types of foods, and, for all types of dogs, whether they be seniors, picky eaters. Can you tell us a little bit about Bil-Jac dog food?
Yeah, we really think about, how can we, make foods for the different kinds of breed sizes and ages and activity levels, for dogs, because we know that it's really important. Not every dog is the same. And, we really try to make sure that they get all that they need out of their food. And so, it's really it's so rewarding from my perspective to hear the stories that we get back from pet parents about, how happy their dog is. We just posted something on our Facebook page this week of a woman who had sent in a note to us about her dog Violet, who was 13, and she was having some digestive issues, and they were really getting worried about her, and they switched to Bil-Jac Senior, and she is doing fantastic. So it's just really great to hear those stories about how much nutrition can make a difference, because we take it for granted sometimes.
Absolutely.
So we really do things. One of the things that's very special about us is we do things very differently. So we do use a lot of fresh chicken in our formulas and to make our food. And so, for example, in our adult select formula, we use 25 pounds of fresh chicken to make a 30-pound bag of Bil-Jac adult select. But then, we also slow cook all of our dry dog foods. And so that helps to protect those key nutrients so that they do get those key nutrients that they need every day, the things that they can only get from their food. So it's really a joy to work, to work at a company where you can make such a big impact on people and their dogs, who obviously are our family.
Absolutely. And, we touched on Joel and a couple of other things, and that I love your Best Friends Club, and I love getting my newsletter. Can you just tell the listeners where they can go to learn more about Bil-Jac, and also take advantage of a lot of the things that you have going there?
Yeah, come out to our website. That's a great place to start. It's Bil-Jac.com. It's BIL-JAC.com. And, like you said, you could sign up for our Best Friends Club newsletter. If you have a puppy, we have a puppy club, so you could join our puppy club and be able to get some coupons and some information about your growing puppy. We also, like you said, we're also out on digital and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube. So there's some great videos out there. Every month we send out our Best Friends Club, we always have articles that we post on our dog blog. So it's great for you to, if you're just generally interested in dogs and taking care of your dog, we really try to make it fun and interesting. Sometimes we're just doing, the 10 best dog movies we love, and sometimes we're doing things like, how to train your dog, or doing videos around the love letters that people send into us that, have tried Bil-Jac and what they've seen. So there's really a lot of things out there. It really just depends on what you're looking for. But come on out, check it out, and hopefully there'll be some great tips out there that will help you and your dog live a long, healthy life.
As always, I want to thank you. I mean, I think that you've helped the pet parents out there to get off to a great start to Dog Training Education Month. Great tips, great advice, great health advice. As always, I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and good luck to everyone getting out there doing a little bit of training.
Absolutely. Thank you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up in iHeartRadio and iTunes. Let's talk pets. Live and on demand, only from Pet Life Radio.
Miss Olive wishes everyone a very happy Valentine's Day, and please remember that adopting a pet into your forever home changes your life and theirs with unconditional love. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We would like to thank our guests this week, and also As our Doggy Divas always say, please love your pets because they love you unconditionally. And please remember to adopt, foster, spay, neuter, and microchip. And as always, please have a great Diva week, everyone.
That's all for this episode of the Doggy Diva Show. To find out more, go to our website, thedoggydiva.com. Also, find us on our Facebook page, The Doggy Diva Show, and tell your fellow dog lovers about it. Don't miss Susan Marie, Miss Olive, and the Doggy Divas right here for the next episode. See you again soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.